Good morning. This is Ron Brown again. It's almost noon here Central Time. I'm doing this on the 16th of August 2024. This is a continuation of last week's video on using contextual trends. And as always, any stock index or ETF mentioned in this presentation is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All trading strategies are used at your own risk. Last week I showed you the contextual user smart groups where you can just go in and look at user smart groups. These are rebuilt every night and they're under contextual trends down and contextual trends up. And that works great if you just want to look at the stocks that were trending up and down as of the end of day yesterday, but we can also approach this from a different direction. I'm going to show you that today. If you go into your warehouse views, and I have a quick pick up here for the warehouse views and for the chart also, and I'm going to activate an arrow here and show you where I am. These are the warehouse views. If you look up at I need to release this and scroll to the top. If you look under my favorite daily prospecting scans, end of day and intraday, you're going to find this, and you'll find this folder, these scans and other areas of my files, but these are the ones I use most. Now, you can see what's in here. You can see there's a micro trend up, short-term trend up, intermediate trend up, and intermediate trend fan up. Same thing on the downside. I won't go through all these, but they're all there, both up and down. So when I shift back and activate this, I can click on micro trend intraday, and this gives me an intraday view, and I can see which stocks are up intraday, and they are micro trend up stocks. So you can see this one, I'm not familiar with it. Let's find one that's a little more expensive here. Take two. It crossed over 4 days ago, 0 being the crossover day, on the 3 crossing the 6. And if I bring it up and make it large here, you can see where it crossed over, and it's moving up now. But it's still a micro trend only because the 6 and the 18 have not crossed over, nor has the 18 and the 50. So this showed up back here on the stopping volume. It looks like, let me put a crosshair on here. Stopping volume. No, I'm sorry, it didn't. It showed up the next day when it started making this move on effort to rise. But it's been a nice move since then. So that's a micro trend. Now if we go back here, here's the end of day, intraday, and then this is the days since the crossover, and it shows you where the days or the crossovers are on the 6 and 18 and the 1850. And they're to the downside. You can see that. So I just put that in there just for reference. Now here's a short-term trend up. I'll do this intraday. You can see these are all up, and they crossed over. Most of them crossed over several days ago. Now let's bring this one up. You can see this is crossed over. 3-6 crossed over here, and then the 618 followed. This bounced off the 200-day, and it moved up. Okay, this is intermediate term end of day. 218 here, and then if I move down to the intermediate term trend up, fan up, there's 626. And when you see a lot of stocks in this intermediate trend up with the fan up, That tells you that we're in a strong market, and we know that we are right now. Let's compare this to the intermediate term trend down, fan down, and that's 499. There's quite a few there, but not as many as there are to the upside. So any stock in here, and I'll put it on the intraday, is going to have the fan in place and the trend, intermediate term trends are all up. So let's just take a look at PLTR. I'll bring this up and you can see that all of these histograms are positive. After this big sell-off here, it bounced right back. If I put a crosshair on here, on the effort to rise, and it's risen from there, and it's out to a new high in this strong market. Now, what's nice about being able to scan with these trends is I can go in. I'm going to go into the designer. First of all, let's. I'm doing a manual update here. Let's update the intraday. Update the intraday now. Takes about 30 seconds, if that. And then I'm going to do two more things. I'm going to click on the designer here again, and I'm going to go to my industries, and I'm going to rebuild these industries. And then I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to rebuild my user smart groups. The reason I'm doing this is I'm going to go down to these user smart groups and apply these contextual filters to money flow in and money flow out, which is happening intraday. So I'm going to have current data, not end of day data, and I want to concentrate on the stocks that are showing money flow in. So here's money flow in. Percentage change has to be positive, the range has to be above 50%, and the volume has to be above normal. So this is what I'm in right now, and I'll just go back to this quick pick, and let's go to the micro trend up intraday, but I have to drop back down to that user group that I just updated, and it's money flow in and out. And you can see that these are all positive. The intraday range is above 50%, and the volumes above the 90-day moving average. Now, as of yesterday, these were microtrend only. So I'm sorted on raw combo. You can see this stock's up 3.41% today, trading near the top of its range. And if I bring the chart up, get rid of the crosshair, you can see that the 6 and the 18 has not crossed yet, nor, of course, the 18 versus 50, but the 3-6 crossed over back here. So what this allows us to do is to find stocks that may just be moving up recently, and they're only microtrend stocks. Let's look at one here that crossed over 5 days ago, Edwards Life Sciences, and you can see that it crossed over 5 days ago, but this had fallen so far because of a downside gap due to earnings that none of the other crossovers have occurred yet. But by doing this, it allows us to find stocks that are just starting to move. Look at this. Stopping volume, test, confirmation of test, or strength coming in, confirmation of that test. And look how this stock has moved up 9 points since the earnings disappointment. Okay, I'm going to go to short-term trend up, intraday in the money flow in. So this is today, this one's up 13.95%. You can see that the 3.6 crossed over here and the 6.18 crossed over here. So this is a short-term trend. If you look over here, it describes what these trends are all the way to the left-hand side. And this is a stock that crossed over here on that big gap up, and then it traded down, and then money started flowing into it again. But it didn't become a short-term trend until right here. Let's do the intermediate term trend intraday. This is without the fan up, and I'm still in the money flow. You can see that these are strong. CXDO. Okay, this crossed over here. It had crossed over back here, and then there was a pullback on this, but the 3.6 crossed over. This was already positive, and this was already positive, but the fan is not in place yet. This is an inexpensive stock, but it meets all the criteria. You can see the pocket pivot scans right here, or pocket pivots firing, I'm sorry, those blue lines. So strength coming in. And here was the crossover back into it after a pullback on this day right here, and it continues to move up. One more. Let's do the intermediate term with the fan up, and there's a bunch of these. Let's look at this one right here, CLBT. Okay, here's the 3.6 crossover here after a pullback, big pullback, 3.6 crossover here, and then the 6.18 and the 18.50 were positive right here. Plus the fan is in place. Let me bring that arrow up and point this out. 200, 100, 50, 18, so the fan is in place. And the buy was on this day if you use the 3.6 crossover. Okay, now let's go look at the other side here. These are the trending up and these are the trending down, but I'm in this money flow in, and I want to drop down to the money flow out. So microtrend down. This is end of day. Let's look at the intraday, and you can see that intraday these are still going down. So microtrend down intraday. Let's bring that up. And you can see that it crossed right here on this, and then it really fell out of bed today on heavy volume. But these are still positive here, so it's just a micro trend down. Now let's go down to the next one. Short trend down intraday, and you can see that these are all down, of course, because this is intraday, but let's just look at Rivian here. You can see that it crossed to the downside, 3.6 clear up here, and it has stayed below that, and the 6 crossed the 18 right here. Remember, I'm doing the short term down. Intermediate term down. Let's do the intraday here. And you can see, of course, that these are all down, and I haven't been referring to this column, but I should have on the other two. Let's just do that quickly. Microtrend down, you can see this column's down. Short-term trend down, this column's down. This is the days since the 3 crossed down. Intermediate term, this column's down. And then with the fan down, you can see that a lot of these have been below, the 3's been below the 6 for several days. Let's try this one right here. You can clearly see that the 3 crossed the 6. Had a little bounce here, didn't it? And then a chance for a re-entry here on the downside or staying away. Now we're getting some stopping volume, but the 3 is below the 6 is below the 18, and the 18 is below the 50, and the fan is in place. 200, 100, 200, 150, and 18. So these are the weakest ones when the fan is down. Now the point of these scans is that you can go into any user group and just look for stocks that may be emerging or just starting to go down, or they're in more of a trend. That's why I put this in here, and it works quite well. So I'm just going to go into my user groups, the non-index files, and I didn't want to do that. I'm going to go into the most active stocks. These are stocks that I pulled out a bar chart. I just got a fill on a stock there, it sounds like. And I'm going to go up to my trending up and intraday. Now you can see that the percent volume of the 90-day moving average intraday volume is not a requirement for this filter just on the micro trend up intraday. That was the case when I was using the user smart group, because that was the requirement of the user smart group, that we also had heavy volume. So these are the current intraday prices, and I'm sorted on the raw combo, which drives stocks that have a large percentage move and are trading in their upper range near the top of the list, and this brings Macy's up. So if I bring this up, you can see that the crossover actually happened 4 days ago, and this would have appeared through this scan on that day, and it's moved up quite a bit since then. So you want to find these stocks that are really just starting to move. So if you use this column and sort on it, and down arrow and then go back to the top, just look for stocks that just crossed over. I don't see any zeros in here, but I see a lot of ones, which is going to locate stocks that crossed over yesterday. You can see, if you look closely, that the green bar turned positive. I should probably just move this up here like this. This is Best Buy, and it gapped open, traded down, profit taking on that day, but now buyers are stepping back into it. Here's the crossover here. Now we get a little pullback. We're getting a no supply on this today. So these are stocks that are just starting to move. Now if you want to go to the other end of the spectrum, go to intermediate term fan up, and I'm still sorted on the days since the crossover. You can see that Lowe's appears. If there's a 1 in here, it just means that this has been a trending stock, kind of a trending stock, with a pullback, and it looks like it's going up again. It's not a great trend. Here's the 100, 200, 50, and 18. It's been a really sloppy chart, but it meets all the criteria, and the crossover was here 2 days ago, because 0 is a crossover day, and it says 1 here. Let's look at Tyson's Food. I want to try to find a decent looking chart here. Here we go. Okay, this is a trending stock. You can see the fan is in place here. The 3's above the 6. it had a little pullback and then a crossover yesterday, so it looks like it wants to continue up here. The other histograms are positive. The VPOC's positive also. So you have all kinds of options here. You can look for the micro trend. You can look for the short trend where these two have crossed over to the positive side. You can locate stocks that are just starting to move. But the strongest stocks are either up. The strongest trending stocks, either up or down, are going to be intermediate term with the fan up, or on the downside with the fan down. Now there are a lot of uses for this. Let's say you're interested in, okay, I'm going to go into the Woodward and Brown Smart Groups. Let's say you're interested in ERG 240 stocks, strong EPS, high relative strength. And these are showing a strong ERG. I don't know if I have ERG in this view or not. Yeah, I do over here. You can see these are all strong ERG stocks, and the fan is up. And this is intraday, and this is going to tell you which stocks are following through today. And I'll just bring this up, and I can look here and see what the ERG is, 277. So these, if you're only interested in very strong stocks whose fans are up, you just come in here to a smart group and apply the contextual filter to that smart group. Now, just out of curiosity, let's see if there are any micro-trend stocks in here. No, I wouldn't think so. How about short-term trend? There are a few. So these are high ERG stocks, which are, after a pullback, are moving up again. 3-6 crossover, 6-18 crossover, which makes it a short-term trend. And it really had a nice move today, but the crossovers happened back here. I looked at this one earlier, I believe, and confirmed right here. Now the intermediate term trend up, there's only a couple. Chewy is one of them, and Revance Therapeutics. Let's take a look at Chewy. So you can see that the three histograms are positive, but the fan has not formed yet. But this stock is just starting to move. Now, you can play with this, see if you can come up with stocks. I'll be doing more of this in the future, but also I want to point out that I'm working on, so we find a lot of stocks that have moved and they're just crossing over. They're crossing over recently. Now, what I'm working on now, and I'll talk about this next week, is if you look at these Bollinger Band charts that are in here, I'm looking for stocks based upon the Bollinger Bands, trying to catch them outside of the band. This is mean reversion prospecting. And there's a book here I would recommend, Mean Reversion Trading. You can buy it for $10 on Amazon, the Kindle edition. And this really lays out a nice plan for mean reversion trading with debit spreads. So you can put on low risk trades, and the instructions are all in here. He has a site also. You can buy a membership, take his trades, but I'm setting it up so we can locate these stocks with scans in HGSI and do your own scanning without paying somebody else. So that's what I'm going to be talking about next week. But really, if you are interested in this at all, I can't seem to get this out of here. Just go to Amazon and look up Mean Reversion Trading by Nishat Pant. He's an Indian, I believe, from India. And it's really a short book, but it's a well-written book, and it shows you exactly how he puts these trades on. So next week I'll have something for you relating to this, so we can find stocks that are outside the Bollinger Bands, are very close to the lower band or upper band, and they're starting to make the turn. The advantage of doing it with HGSI is that we also have VPA flags to guide us along the way. That's it for this week. Have a good weekend, and I'll be back with that video next Friday explaining what I'm working on, which is explained in this book. Thanks for listening.